Yo people, there is a Roblox horror game out there that makes you feel like that you are being watched in a dark room.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to make another short horror game, but this time, I want to make it themed around the concept of being watched. The fear of being watched is probably the most common fears that people have, so I think this horror game has potential to be very scary. Now before we jump right in, let's go into the drawing board and write down my ideas and give y'all a basic idea of what I'm trying to make. So my first idea was to make the setting of the horror game inside of like a dark house. I also wanted to make the game have a more realistic vibe to it.
Yeah, because I tell you right now, this face right here is not gonna scare me, so yeah, you're right, you should make it more realistic, mate.
Sure yet, but we'll figure that out along the way. There's obviously going to be some more stuff inside of the game, but this is just the basic idea. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get straight into it. If you enjoyed this video, then maybe consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. Alright, well I'm in studio now, so the first step is just to make the basic layout of the house first. So let's just do that.
I mean, you could have made a mansion, no? Wait, actually, I think he is making a mansion.
Well, here's the basic floor plan of the house. I think it's looking pretty good so far. But now it's time to add some decorations and doors and all that good stuff, so time to get to that.
I can't believe that there are people out there with real talent that can do this. You know how long this takes? And Mama's making it look so easy as well. It's actually crazy. And he has some crazy talent.
I just added a bunch of lights around the house, and now I'm adding light switches, and I'm also going to code being able to turn on and off the lights, because that adds realism. Alright, I think I'm finally done with all this coding. Let's just make sure it works. Yep. Nice, finally. And now I have to decorate the interior of the house, but I'm using this asset pack here, so don't come at me in the comments. I'm not about to build like 300 different models.
Like, look how long this takes. Oh my god, you gotta appreciate it. You gotta appreciate the work, man. I could never. Mad.
Alright, well now I think the house is fairly decorated, so now the next step is to add some windows, so I'm gonna get to that.
That can't be that hard. Windows? I could add windows. Wait, okay, never mind. Never mind. Well, I just thought you add a window. You create a window. What?
So now all the interior decoration is done, so now I'm just going to add in some scripts for like footstep sounds and camera movement, stuff like that, just to make it seem more high quality. Actually, I have to add these doors first. I almost forgot. Alright, well now I'm just going to go ahead and adjust the lighting a little bit, and then I'll show you guys what this game is looking like so far. Alright, well we're inside of the game now, so I'm just going to go ahead and walk around.
That's your right, no.
Oh,
I like it.
This is
I like it.
terrifying. What the heck? Alright, well I think the actual like ambience is really good so far, so now all I have to add is something spooky. Alright, so before we get into that though, I wanted to say that this game is not out yet, and I might do a couple more videos where I take your guys' suggestions and expand this game even further. So if you have a cool idea, then maybe leave a comment down below. Have that feeling of being watched. Well, I have a couple of ideas that I want to implement. First of which is having some objects around the house move when you aren't looking, or slightly change or completely disappear. The next thing I'm going to add is some scary sounds that have a rare chance of playing. I wanted something a little more than that. So my next idea, I actually took inspiration from a game called Minutes Remain. Minutes Remain is actually already kind of similar to what I'm making because it takes place inside of a dark house where weird things happen. Except in this game, a random event happens every 1 minute. I actually really like this game, and if you haven't played it before, then I highly recommend giving it a try. As of recording, there's 0 players online somehow, even though it's a really good game. But the random events that can happen in this game are pretty scary, so I'm going to take inspiration from those and add them into my game. Obviously with some kind of twist, I'm not just going to copy them. But you might be wondering what the actual goal of this game is, or like what the point of it all is.
I know.
And right now, there is none.
No.
But that's something that we're probably going to add in the next video, so stay tuned for that. So I just
What?
coded in some more events that could potentially happen. They happen every like 2 minutes or so, and they include like lights flickering, the TV playing creepy sounds, and other smaller stuff like that. So for the next thing I'm going to add, it's much more complicated, so I'm just going to show you guys on the drawing board a little bit. So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and draw the layout of the house real quick. Okay, bear with me, I'm not really good at drawing on PC, but alright, so for this example, let's say that you, the player, are in the living room. So the monster will spawn in like the furthest possible room from the player, which in this case is the bathroom. So if the player stays in the same spot, then the monster will make its way from the bathroom down the hall until it can see the player from the very start of the hallway right there. Now once the monster reaches that spot, it will just stay there and stare at the player until the player notices it and sees them, in which case the monster will quickly retreat back to the bathroom and then disappear. So now the second option is if the player makes its way towards the monster, in which case the monster will stand right outside of the bathroom or whichever room it is, and then once it's spotted, it will retreat quickly back into that room and then disappear as well. I'm also eventually going to add some more stuff that this monster can do, but for now this is good enough. So I'm not going to bother showing the entire process of me making this since it pretty much took an entire day, but I'll go ahead and just show you guys the finished product here.
Alright. What's up with you?
Thank you for making it to the end of the video.
Is that
I
it?
really hope you
I didn't feel like I'm being watched. I just seen a black shadow and it just ran off.